it's sad. I mean, it's just like, it's Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday.
It's Saturday. And then he just says, welcome to Eclectic Ramblings, right?
Then he said something about the Odyssey, I think.
Oh, yeah.
All of that.
Yeah. This is the courtesy of Flint Odyssey. This is WFOVLPFM Flint ER. This machine is gonna. Oh my god. You got the stream up? Okay. I'm gonna run and grab my laptop real quick, so because you want us to look up that stuff.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
I mean, it's not necessary. That's okay.
Okay.
We good.
Okay. I just got to get here, start the quick time.
Let me call you when I get back to my phone.
Okay, I just need the password for the desktop real quick so I can start quick time. Password to desktop so I can start quick time.
Hey, everybody. We'll be with you in just a moment. Having small technical difficulties here, so bear with us.
Sorry, guys. And gents and ladies.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
We good. Yay!
Alright, yeah, no, I was trying to figure out the password for the desktop, but it was nothing, so I got it. Alright, cool. Bye.
Alrighty. Just a moment.
Does he just turn that one off, or do we just go with our mics and then we're good to go?
And normally we don't hear that.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so either. But yeah, we can get started regardless of that.
Okay, come on.
It's Saturday. Welcome to another episode of Eclectic Ramblings here on WFOV LP FM Flint, Our Voices Radio. Thank you guys for listening in. I know the voice sounds a little different. This is actually Paul Jr. here on the mic, helping Miss Donna out today.
I'm so excited to have you here with me today, Mr. Paul Jr.
Oh, and let me also remind everybody that this is a subsidy of Flint Odyssey House and all the great work that they do. So please look out for them and all the things they do in the community.
That's right. Yay.
So, Miss Donna,
Yes,
I'm filling in, so I'm gonna kind of look to you for guidance. Like I'm not a rookie to the realm of radio, but you know.
Yes, I get that.
This is your thing, so I'm you just follow your lead.
Well, I just want to ask you, how was your weekend?
Oh, my
Your
week. My week was good. I was out down in East Lansing because I'm finishing out classes out at Michigan State University.
Okay.
So it's been a long week. A lot of projects, a lot of papers, and then a lot of side personal projects I'm working on. So
what did you do exciting this week?
Exciting.
You say that as if there's nothing in your life that's
I mean,
exciting.
it's just like the same old. Like I'm not doing anything exciting right now because it's just
Okay,
I'm in the.
It may not
the
be
motions.
exciting to you, but it may be exciting to us, the listeners.
That's true. I mean, I went on a bike ride and that was kind of fun, like trying to go through the snow.
So how was that?
It was
Is it something that you would do on a regular basis?
I mean, I do like to bike, but
in the winter.
Yeah, I have biked in the. I like living in East Lansing. Getting to class, you kind of do what you got to do to get places sometimes. So, yeah, you do what you do. They got to do, but I'd bike it regardless if I had to do it for class because I just enjoy being outside and getting the fresh air.
Awesome.
Are you a biker?
I sit on a board for a biking organization. I am trying to be more bike friendly, if I can say that.
I got you.
Yeah, so I'm working towards being more bike friendly. Can I say it that way?
Yeah, you can say it that way. I mean, you say it however you want.
So, what I did this week that was exciting was the Yo-Yo Ma.
Okay.
That was amazing. It was so amazing I can't even put it to words how great it was.
If you could scale it from 1 to 10, what would you give it?
100.
Okay. That's off the scales then.
And his personality, his energy, Yo-Yo Ma, his energy is unbelievable. You would have never thought that he was this grand person, and then I'll take that back. That's how a grand person should be. Personable, able to talk to, touch. Yes, he is
reachable, like somebody.
Reachable, relatable. His energy was so amazing. Yeah.
What day was that?
That was on Thursday of last week. Yeah.
Now, did you put anything on Facebook? Did you get any live clips? Something to
Yes,
tease the people
as
with?
a matter of fact, I did. I actually got the mayor to my station. I was helping Kentucky Athletic Club, and we have a stationary bike it's called a fender blender. So you put the blender on a bike and a stationary bike, and you ride to get your smoothie. So you get your physical activity, and at the end of the physical activity, you get your smoothie, which would be your reward, your gift. So, yeah, that was really good, and it was an amazing attribute to the event on Thursday. We stood up and worked hard for 2 hours straight.
And then you got the reward and you felt accomplished, right?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. We got the mayor to ride and blend. Yo-Yo Ma, he blended and rode. So it was, like I said, it was amazing.
That's great.
Yay!
Now, do you have anything this week you're looking forward to?
This week looking forward to? No, not really. But, things come up. So I'm excited to see what tomorrow holds. So I'm always anticipating something great and grand. So what about yourself?
Next week is actually spring break for us.
Okay.
So
So what do you have planned?
I'm not doing nothing. No, but in that I'm not going, I'm not making a trip. I'm not going down to like Panama City Beach or going to Mardi Gras or doing New Orleans
that's
or like anything.
Odd because I'm so used to you guys having something special
yeah.
for every whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So what made you not want to do anything this week?
Adulting is really what it comes down to. Getting life together.
What do you mean adulting?
Adulting, like
explain
sometimes,
that to me.
What I explain it as is sometimes you want to do those fun things, but you know that you could actually do like instead of using that money or using that time for not I don't want to call it frivolous, but like for entertainment, I could use that time and energy and put it to something that I need to take care of now.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
This is the thing. Life is so short.
No, it is.
So what I try to encourage people to do is when you have any opportunity to have fun and let your hair down, you take those moments because those moments never come back to you.
You're right.
So find something that will titillate
and
your spirit.
I'm not saying I'm just gonna be hitting the books hard the whole time. Hey, absolutely not. Of course, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna take my time, catch up on a few shows, watch some things.
Okay, so when you say catch up on a few shows, what are some of the shows that you like to engage in?
I'm a huge anime fan.
Okay.
Huge.
Okay. So what's your favorite?
Favorite? That's a very hard question. Top for me in no particular order would be like Naruto, One Piece, Air Gear, I got to give a shout out to, and just a couple others.
All of the ones that you named, I have
Dragon Ball Z.
No, that's the only one I know about.
Yeah, there you go.
And I really don't know about that.
Yeah.
I just heard the name.
They had a movie out recently in the movie theaters, which was amazing. I've gone to see every movie.
So what about those intrigue you?
I don't know. It's like growing up along the internet. I was exposed to a lot of things as a kid that like you guys didn't. Like I was being able to go on Japanese websites, look up character bios and all this stuff. So I just really got immersed in the culture as a kid, just surfing the internet. You know what I mean? And my uncle, who's just like slightly older than me, probably like by 10 years, he was really into it as a kid. And so seeing him watch it, really got me into it. And it was just my foundation. You know what I mean?
Okay. So that's you're strong.
It's my cup of tea. It's like my go-to. But I mean, I also watch regular shows too. Like I love. I just watched The Rapture, which is like a rap documentary on hip hop culture and stuff like that.
Oh, and how was that? What was that about?
It was good. The episode I watched was pertaining to Logic.
So it's a series.
And
where are they showing this series on?
It's a stream. It streams on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's just a documentary series that follows rappers and talks about their story and like how they entered like why they're pursuing music the way they are and things like that. And I watched the Logic episode because I was actually looking for some inspiration for a project that I'm hoping to do for Spectacle. Okay. So I was like looking at documentaries and stuff. But it was a really good episode. I love Logic. If you guys don't know who Logic is, please look him up on whatever platform you can find him.
Okay.
He's very positive, outgoing, and preaches, love.
So how did he get his start, and what made him and what makes him different from everyone else besides him being the positive?
I mean, yeah, everybody's opinion. In my opinion, he's his flow. He doesn't. A lot of positive rappers, it's like you feel like it's forced. You feel like they're putting on a fake facade about. Like I feel like they're really pushing the positive agenda. But the thing is, with Logic, he doesn't just do positivity. He also has his trap bangers. He also has his in your feelings music. He also has his like drug addiction and going through struggles and girlfriend and family issues, I mean, and a lot of artists, have that because their music is a reflection of them. Right. I just really love how he portrays things in his concept albums. The stories behind them are amazing.
So tell me about the episode that you watched about him. How did he get his start?
He started off in Maryland. In Maryland, I don't remember the city,
Mm-hmm.
but he was pretty much homeless, and he was just bouncing around doing stuff to stuff, going to shows. Met up with his boy, and they ended up living with him. And he was like, "Yo, for the next, like, I'ma front you, like, I'll take care of you, but we're just
Wait a
gonna
minute.
focus on this
Wait a
music."
minute. He was homeless and
Mhm.
he was.
He had a hard living. He had a hard living. His dad wasn't in his life for a while. His mom kind of disowned him for the fact of him being biracial.
What is his age?
He's like 32, I want to say. He's
alright.
like early 30s, late
And how
20s.
long has he been in the game?
I mean, he's been rapping since he was, I think, 15 is what the documentary said. Like, he started rapping and doing shows.
Okay, now
but
is he
when his
is
name
he
got
signed with a label? Or
big. Yeah, he's
anything?
with Interscope Records right now,
Okay.
I believe.
Uh huh. Oh, awesome.
Interscope. He's a big artist. Has 5 albums out right now currently. Couple
Okay.
mixtapes. He's one of those artists that even though he produces studio albums, he still drops mixtapes for the fans.
Awesome.
Because he's in it for the music. He's in
Right.
it for the fans. He's
Right.
in it for the love and for the message he's trying to push,
Okay.
not for the dollars. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What kind of what? But I'm putting you on the logic. You got to put me onto something. What have you been listening to lately?
You really want to know what I've been listening to lately? Books on books.
Books are great.
So what I'm listening to right now is The Magic of Thinking Big.
Okay.
And
Who's the author?
I can't think of his name.
Okay.
But it's an amazing book.
Okay.
And I encourage everyone, if you can't read the book, at least listen to the book, because even if you're not paying attention to it,
Mhm.
it gets into your spirit. And my goal is to inundate my mind with positive outlooks so that when those negative things come to me, I can move past it without it allowing it to bring me into a place of despair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's your favorite? What book have you read lately?
I've been reading a lot of
I
textbooks.
mean, no, we're not talking about those types of books. So take a breath. What types of books you read besides your textbooks?
Oh, besides what's my preference? Oh, I love sci-fi and fantasy. Like,
Well,
that's my bread and
goes in
butter.
the vein of the anime, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like it's my escape. It's my escape.
Okay.
But last series I was reading is called The Fisherman's Tale.
And what was that consist of?
The book's called The Prodigal Son. It's by Karen Miller. She is it's about 2 sections of people. There's not the Orkin. I'm thinking of Warframe. I'm sorry. There's the Orin, who are the Oaken, who are like these people who are magic that's weaved into the earth. They're
Okay.
they're very everything is tied to nature and tilling the ground and filling things out.
Okay.
And then there's the I want to call them. We'll just call them elves for now because that's what they're kind of characteristic of.
Mm-hmm.
And they came and took over the Oran's land because theirs was so war ridden, and then they came into this mutual pact. But
Mm-hmm.
the elves viewed themselves as better than the other ones, so there's this class system to it. So it's just real interesting.
Does it mimic life any? You think?
Oh, yeah, I think in any literature you can find something that relates back to life, and that's the beautiful thing about
Yeah.
like reading anything. You're like, ooh, that kind of relates to this in a weird, funny way.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. So are you cooking today?
I will as soon as we get off the show. I need to eat something.
And what you planning to cook today?
I don't know. Probably whip up some eggs. Lately, I've been taking the yolks out. You know what I'm saying, and just doing egg whites.
And why is that?
I know about the document. I watched the documentary where they talked about how egg yolks are the worst part of the egg, and how it has more carcinogens than a lot of I think than even a standard cigarette.
Really?
Yeah, I
hadn't
believe.
Okay.
I believe. Don't wholeheart it's been a while since I've seen the documentary.
Now, is that because of the way the chickens are being raised?
And it could full well be.
Yeah.
I don't know if they, I can't remember if they went into full depth why it is that way, if it's just that way naturally. Like I said, it's been a minute since
Well,
I've
you
seen the
know, I
documentary.
did some juicing for your dad this
Okay.
week. So
Ooh.
I did, what did I do? I did acorn squash,
Mm-hmm.
cucumber, and apple. So I would like to know what he thinks about it.
Okay.
So,
And what inspired, like, how'd you get into the juicing game?
oh, that is a journey of its own. So I was originally the breastfeeding counselor for Genesee County.
Mm.
And as I started doing the breastfeeding, it started leading me into all kind. And actually, I was teaching nutrition first.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing breastfeeding first, and then, but I was in the middle of also doing nutrition and breastfeeding. So, as I was doing the breastfeeding and the nutrition, I found that I was teaching the standard American diet.
Mm-hmm.
And in my research and just watching people that are on the standard American diet, I was totally disgusted by the standard American diet because I didn't see any benefit of it. People were getting fat, their health was failing, and then I started doing research on my own, figuring out why is it that so many people were eating the standard American diet, which most universities and most government subsidy programs are pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to figure out, well, why are they pushing this? And I'm constantly seeing people abide by that, and I'm going to call it what we call it, which is the SAD diet.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing the SAD diet. They were eating their 5 fruits and vegetables, their 2 ounces of meat, getting some dairy, but their health was failing. And it just didn't make sense to me when I know that you get your nutrients from the foods that you eat. For some reason, I knew that their bodies were starving for something. And again, I started looking into other ways to help people. And the first thing I found out was that, first of all, they needed to stop drinking the milk,
Mm-hmm.
reduce some of our meats that they were eating, because all of our ailments are usually because of inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And milk and meat are some of the culprits of causing inflammation and mucus in the body.
Mm-hmm.
And those are some of the things that cause
sure.
right. Those
as soon
are
as you drink it, you feel that
right.
You just
And then being a breastfeeding counselor, I had moms who refused to even think about putting baby to breast. And then I would notice their children, that most women who had babies that didn't put baby to breast, their babies were always full of snot, just mucusy all the time. And it just was like, I see why. I see the benefits of putting baby to breast versus to do the artificial milk. And then as I went into my research, I found out that artificial milk really or formula, as most people call it, had never really been tested. So every time you give your baby the formula, it's like your baby is a test dummy. And then you have so many babies.
So you should definitely go natural, like as much as you can. Like formula, it just scares me.
Yeah, I mean, and the only reason why they started doing the formula is when it was during the wartime. The husbands had to go to war and the wives had to go to work. So they had to supplement some kind of way, and that's how the formula. Right, and it costs what, 13 cents to make it, and one can cost like $20 if I'm not mistaken, which makes no sense to me, because you have to sterilize the bottles, you have to do all of that. So if you had a day where everything shuts down, what happens with the baby's bottles? Breast milk is always there. It's always at the right temperature. If you were pumping and sitting it on the counter, the longer it sits, the more antibodies it produces, so it becomes a little bit better milk. So it's just and that's like, again, that's how it led me into juicing. I guess juicing wasn't the first thing that I went into. Herbs and spices.
But it like branched off from.
Oh my God! It's so many.
It's crazy how things branch.
So many things that branched off into just by that one.
Yeah.
Because I am a licensed cosmetologist,
Okay.
and then I realized that a lot of people were using perms and things of those natures. And for women, whenever you put a perm in their hair, it coats the top of their skull. So it damages your brain cells, and it keeps your hair from growing. So if I could get them to start doing more natural things, even if they weren't necessarily not doing the perm, but if they were making like their own, like I said, I went from the store-bought things into making my own products out of herbs and things of that nature. So I started making like hair conditioner sprays or teas, like rosemary tea, to put in my hair and use it as a conditioner and things of that nature. And then from there I started going into the smoothies, and then from there I went from juice, and from there I went to, and now as I keep evolving, I am a raw food chef. So it just and I keep seeing it go further and further and further, and to me all of it works together, because not only am I a breastfeeding counselor, but I'm also a doula, which is a one step beneath midwife.
Okay.
Which is like a birthing assistant for families. It's not just tailored to the birthing mom, but it's for her support group. I teach them how to support her through a natural childbirth.
Gotcha.
It's amazing. And then I do what's called, so I do pre-doula, which is preparing them to have the baby. Then I do the actual doulaing inside of the delivery, and then I do postpartum doula, where I go in and I help mom with breastfeeding and help around the house.
Afterwards.
Right, to keep, because postpartum depression is real. And and being a doula, I can recognize those things and help her to make the decision that she needs to make to help her get through that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and so bringing it back to the smoothies, when you make these smoothies, like when you made them for Dad,
I did see that was a difference. I did juicing for your dad.
Oh, juice, you did.
And
juice,
I'm drinking a smoothie.
Oh, okay.
So there is a difference, and the difference between the juicing and the smoothie, the juice you're actually, and I'll say it like this, it's like you're taking the blood from the fruit or the vegetable, and it goes into your system really fast, because it goes from its blood goes to your blood just like that. With a smoothie, you still have all of the components to it. You just get it get it to a liquefied form.
Okay.
So when you're juicing, you don't get as much of the fiber. You do get some, but when you do the smoothie, you get all of the fiber, and that could cause a problem for some people, because if you can get too much fiber, it can work against you. Fiber is supposed to help you pass your bowels, but if you get too much, it does the opposite. It'll plug you up. So those are some of the things
to think about.
Yes,
okay.
yes,
I see it. I understand.
So my smoothie I'm having today is avocado, apple, and blueberries.
Looks good.
It's amazing.
So when you do your drinks for people, do you tailor it to the person, or do you like based on like what, like how do you tailor it to the person, I guess?
Well, right now I am doing the cucumber, because most people are trying to lose weight. So cucumber is trying
to get those spring break bodies.
Yes, it helps. Right, it helps with weight loss. With the what was that? The squash, it helps with free radicals, and it helps to build your immune system. So those are the types of things I'm trying to focus on. Things that's going to build your immune system, help you fight off all kinds of infections. Things that are going to detox your body from the poisons that's been in our waters, and keeping you hydrated. And getting the nutrients in your system as quick as possible. Yeah. Yeah, because the whole purpose of eating, what do you think the whole purpose of eating is?
To fuel the body.
To fuel the body. And how does that happen?
Through the metabolism and your stomach breaking down. Yeah, I mean, I can get real sciencey with it, but I mean, it's just...
Well, so most people think the whole purpose of eating is to fill your belly.
Mm-mm.
The whole purpose of eating is to get the nutrients from the foods that you eat.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when you cook your food, you cook out the nutrients. So what I try to help people do, I don't want them to actually change, to stop cooking their food right away, but I want them to incorporate a better way of, a way of getting the nutrients in your body. So along with the juicing that I do, I always try to encourage them to have at least one dark leafy salad a day, because again, your body needs those nutrients to help.
And those raw, like non-cooked, like straight up.
Yes, and that's the thing with the juicing. It doesn't heat so you're getting just raw, unadulterated food in its best form.
One of my old roommates, I used to live in a co-op, so I had like 23 other roommates. It was crazy in our one house. But he was a big juicer, and smoothie guy, and like every day he had a smoothie in his hand, because he just that was his way to get it throughout the day, because it was easy. It was a drink he could carry and just go.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people teach that you need to juice as you go. In a real world, when you're busy, that's not always the best way. The easiest way to do it. So I try to do at least a couple of days in that, in advance, so I can have it ready, just get it and go. So, yeah.
Nice. I do love being here, and I love that I have this opportunity to be with you guys. I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to remind all the listeners that we're here on WFOV LP FM Flint 92.1. Thank you for listening. We're also a subsidy of the Odyssey House, doing great work out here in the community. I'm glad to be here with Miss Donna.
Yay, I enjoy you too, PJ. Can I call you that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Right,
I am the... And not a lot of people call me that. Well, I guess my close friends call me PJ, but yeah, I don't hear it a lot, so it throws me off a little bit sometimes. But.
Okay, so what are you going to school for?
I do media and information. So, well, I settled on media and information. I had a couple majors, did a couple changes.
Okay. So how did you get to where you are today? So what did you start off with?
I started off as a computer science engineer, like trying to do software. Didn't like the program. Then switched to just straight up hardware, which was computer engineering. Didn't like the program. Switched out, went to do electrical, because I thought I wanted to, just do hands-on stuff in general, and not just maybe specifically related to computers. Didn't like the program, and just realized engineering wasn't what my passion was.
Okay.
And then, growing up with Dad, doing all this stuff with spectacle, like, going on these trips, filming things, media and information was just a natural fit. Like, I do website design, I do video, I do editing, I do I'm learning about the history of film. I'm learning about different marketing strategies, just all sorts of stuff.
So with what you're studying, what are your plans? What are you going to do with?
Oh, I'm definitely coming back. I'm definitely going to work with Dad for the family business. There's no way I can't do that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying? I love it.
So let me. I was just going to ask you. So you develop a great love for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what do you love the most about it?
The freedom,
Yes.
The freedom is the you're deciding what you're doing, because and when you're deciding what you're doing, there's meaning in it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, hey, get this done for me by 5:30, and you're just not really connected to it.
So
You're
let me
just
ask
doing
you
some
this
spreadsheets
question.
for the
So you don't see yourself trying to go and find you a 9 to 5?
I mean, I'm not saying there's not 9 to 5s aren't.
No, that's not. That's not what I asked you.
No. But I'm I'm not seeking. That's not the end goal. Will I get one if I need one? Because I think I can benefit from this experience, from this 9 to 5. Absolutely.
So you said you would do it only for a temporary fix.
Or yeah, for temporary. I mean, but temporary could be 5 years, 10 years. It all depends on the frame and the scheme of things and what I think the value of that 9 to 5. You know.
But that's not your goal.
That's not my end goal. No, absolutely
so
not.
You yearn for entrepreneurship because you yearn for that freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, don't do it.
No.
Do not do the 9 to 5
Mm-hmm.
because when you do that, when you have a burning desire to be an entrepreneur and you go into a 9 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
it causes your brain to go to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard to wake it up,
Mm-hmm.
and you develop a fear.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage you to, if you need some extra cash, ask yourself, what can I do to make that extra cash without having to become a 9 to 5er? Yeah.
I feel that. But also, you know, I'm also doing other things. I'm working with my mom with her business because she runs the shop downtown.
Oh, okay. What are you doing with that?
I do stock and inventory for her. So,
awesome.
You know, getting the shop, you know, right and tight, making sure everything's where it's supposed to be.
Right. And how's that going for her?
Good. She likes it. It's for a long time she was that 9 to 5er, you know, dealing with that stuff, and now that she's running her own thing, running her own hours, being the boss of her own self, she really loves it.
And she feels she feels the difference.
Yeah. I mean, when you're on your own boss, you're on your own time. Like there's a responsibility that you hold, being responsible for yourself, being responsible for your day to day, being productive, being you know, fiscal efficient, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? But the freedom that comes with it, I think, is
now another thing that I would like to know and maybe put into your ear is, do you have a mastermind group, or are you familiar with a mastermind group?
I might not know it as a mastermind group, so just
okay. So a mastermind group is people that you trust and believe in that come together and almost like-minded, but not necessarily exactly the same thing, and you help each other launch your businesses, and you give each other encouraging words. You may even do financial things with one another.
I don't think I have a formal master group, but I do think I'm forming my own personal one. You know what I'm saying? All the time I'm talking with friends about ideas, about things we can do, things that you know, ideas we can push, businesses, things like that. Or like I'll have homies that are already got their own businesses going, and I'm just like, you know, seeing what they're doing. They ask my opinion because they trust my opinion, and I'll give them, you know, advice.
So have you read Think and Grow Rich?
I'm familiar with the book. I haven't read it.
Okay, so read the book and then tell me what you think about the mastermind group.
Okay.
That's your homework.
That's my homework assignment.
Yes.
Man, I came to have a good
Same
time.
thing.
Just talk and, you know, enjoy myself. No, you're giving me homework.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're going to thank me for it. I promise. I promise you'll thank me
I mean,
for
I
it.
probably will, but why would... I got to give you homework now.
Okay. What's my homework?
You have to give me 3 characters from Dragon Ball Z. By the time you come back, you have to give me just 3 characters and what you thought about the first episode. You're not gonna just look up some characters and just tell me what you think of the storyline and things like that.
Okay, will do. I can do that. Okay.
I won't watch you. I'm not gonna make you watch episodes because, to be honest with you, it's a long journey. There's a lot of episodes and there's a lot of repetitive. Like, I have the childhood nostalgia to it, which like makes me, you know, push through it. But for people just get into it, it can be so very frustrating.
Really?
For some people, if you're not into it. So I'm not gonna put you put homework on me. I'm not gonna make yours as bad. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God! The homework I'm giving you is going to last you a lifetime.
A lifetime.
I promise.
You know how many life lessons I've learned from anime?
I'm sure.
So many.
I am sure. And all cartoons are anime.
Not all, because anime is a specific genre. related to Japanese cartoons,
right,
yeah.
Right.
But you can have anime style, yeah. You can have anime style shows like we have American shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender or Samurai Jack, which fall in like the anime realm because they use a lot of the same techniques.
Okay, so what makes something anime versus
non-anime? That's a big debate. It's not a thin line. It's just creative art style. Like a lot of anime have animal characters that are like they don't have not like in the role like Family Guy with like Brian, how he's a talking character.
Right.
Like they're just like little companions that just kind of follow the main character. And you don't really know what their purpose is. That's one like little niche of anime.
Okay.
There's I don't know. There's so much. There's sports anime, so it's like you can't even specify like things to all of it because there's such a wide variety. There's romance, there's high school, there's sports, there's fighters, there's fiction, there's horror, there's any regular genre there's the same thing in anime.
Interesting.
And it's so I'm so passionate about it that actually, as I was telling you earlier, I do a podcast with some of my friends that I have from high school, and even somebody that I met through my friends. And we talk about anime and just nerd culture, comic books, movies, TV shows.
So are you hooked up with the comic book community here in Flint?
I'm not hooked up with a lot of people. I go to Comic Relief every now and then and pick up some comics for my collection because I do collect comic books.
Okay, so what's your favorite comic book? Anime?
It doesn't really work like that. But my favorite comic book character currently is Deadpool, hands down. Like I mean, he has a lot of movies out, but I had like his comics before the movies came out. And he's just a funny guy because I like characters that break the fourth wall. Do you know like what breaking the fourth wall? Like,
I'm in theater. Of course I know what breaking the fourth wall is.
So I love that concept, knowing that you're a character and like speaking to the people. You know what I'm saying? So he does that all the time in his comics, and in the comics he's more raunchy, more gory, more more everything.
Everything is more.
Everything. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like the movies do a good job, but you know there's only so much. The necklace, this right here is from Tanzania. I got it from I got it while I was on study abroad.
You went to Tanzania?
I did.
And what was your experience in Tanzania?
My experience.
How did you get there? How did you get to Tanzania?
It was a school program through Media and Information.
Wait, no. So did you do Freedom School?
I did.
Okay, so did that have any influence?
That did.
Okay, well I'm asking you. How did you get there?
How did I get there? What was the journey?
This is the thing.
Yeah.
People aren't familiar with Freedom School here in Flint. And it's been around for how long?
I've known it since I was a baby. I grew up in it.
Right. So tell me about your experience with Freedom School, and tell me and the audience, what is Freedom School?
Freedom School to me is a way for kids to get to learn black kids to learn about their roots. You know what I'm saying? But it's more than just education on your roots. It's education on how to be people and how to know yourself, how to love yourself.
Yes.
You know?
I love me.
I know me. I love me. God lives within me. At least that's the version that it was like the mantra when I was in.
Right.
You know, the mantra changes and it adapts.
Right.
And I'm sure Miss Deloney has doing great things with the program. But for me, going to all the AXO and different events as a kid, I never went on the Africa trip with a Freedom School.
Okay.
But I knew about it, and I always saw the older kids go, and so like that was like, yo, I really want to go.
Okay.
And then as an engineer walking through the Commerce College, because I had to have classes there, I saw a poster talking about their Tanzania trip. I'm like, oh, but that's not my major. Da 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 da.
Right.
And then it rounded about, and then I'm like, oh, this influence from Freedom School, my influence of like coming into the major, and then it all just kind of came together, and then I was able to do that program.
So when you went over to Tanzania, what was it like? Paint us a picture of your experience?
So Tanzania, I flew in, and the airport in Arusha is right by Mount Kilimanjaro. So like as you're coming in, you can see the mountain. Well, like the whole thing, the whole area is the mountain range. You know what I'm saying? It's just you're on the flats of it, but you see the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro off in the distance. I land, and you know, like when you watch movies, like it's like the American airports are all big and luxurious, and then you go into the other countries and they're like all small. And it was kind of like that. It's like more relaxed. It feels more homey, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel like, dang, I gotta sit here and break my bags apart. But got there. It was nighttime when I got there, so you know the scenery wasn't really there. But like as we're driving through, all I'm seeing is like the roads and like all the flat. It's not safari. It's not what prairie. That's not prairie land. I don't know what to call it. But like every now and then I'd see a pair of glowing eyes as we were. Yeah. No, not the wildlife. I'm talking about the area.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's not wetland. It's not prairie. It's grasslands.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, whatever. But I'd see as we were driving through the car, I'd see some glowing eyes every like a couple miles, and I'm like, oh, that's a jungle cat. I'm like, ooh, that's a lion, or you know, I'd just be freaking out. But it was beautiful, and the thing is, like, their cities. I didn't go to a major city, so I didn't get to experience that. And next time I go, because I'm definitely going back.
Okay.
I'm putting it in the, putting out there.
Yeah,
I'm going back.
Yeah.
But they're no different, nobody's any different else. Everybody's trying to live, everybody's trying to make an honest living, be good people.
Right.
So, I mean, some people are crazy doing crazy stuff, but that's everywhere.
Right.
And we can't let that stop us from interacting, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it was just
So
amazing.
did you meet someone that you still have a connection to?
Oh, yeah, I have a couple people that I'm like connected to on Facebook.
Right.
Like, even though a lot of them don't have like home computers, they have mobile phones, and if you got a mobile phone, you can connect. You can connect. So actually, one of the activity directors, I guess you could call him over there, that's like the ground man for operations over there. We ended up meeting his son because he lived in the area where we were working in the schools in a village called Mtwambu.
So what did you do when you were there?
I worked in so for a portion of it, we were in Arusha at a training facility learning about Tanzania, learning the language, so we could speak.
So do you speak the language?
Mimi ninasema kidogo Swahili.
A little bit. Okay, are you interested in learning more, or?
Yeah, actually, I have like apps on my phone like Duolingo that help me practice my like Swahili and Spanish, so that way I can like keep up on it.
Awesome.
I try to
so, and those are the dominating languages there?
The national language is Swahili. Oh, no, I think English is actually is English the country's language? See, I'm forgetting stuff. They told us this in those classes that we took. But I think English is the national language, and then Swahili is the secondary.
Okay.
Because, colonization and all
right.
that. But, and then, so we were at the training facility for a while, and then we went into the village, and then in the village called Mtwambu, which translates to Mosquito River, because there's a river that goes, and when there's a river, so when we were there, I worked in the schools and helped the teachers. Like the program, it's been going for 10 years, and they've been building computer labs and putting computers and all that stuff in there for them. So we were there fixing the computers, replacing the ones that we couldn't, putting new software on them, and showing them how to use them.
They don't have home computers, but they have communal.
Yeah, communal, and at the schools, for the kids to use, so they can use them as resources and things like that. So some places have, through a lot of charity organizations, there a lot of laptops and stuff are getting dumped in Africa, which, isn't always the best thing, because tech is cool, but if it's not applied holistically, if it's not applied with an end game, like
Right.
with a lesson plan, with a method for delivering the education to the kids, then it's just a hammer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where the materials to build. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So one thing that stood out the most for you in Tanzania?
Oh, it was just beautiful walking outside and being surrounded by nothing but black people, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, like I'd walk. It was just so calming. You know what I'm saying?
How receptive of you were they?
Like I definitely looked different. I'm Americanized. You know what I'm saying? For those of you who can see me, like my hair's. I have locks now, but like then I had a fro, but my sides were still shaved, and I had a low cut on the sides, afro, glasses. So I wasn't like we were in the villages and stuff, so my look just didn't match a lot of the people there. I'm sure if I would have went to when we were in Arusha, which is a smaller city. Like I felt, I looked like a lot more of the people, but people would assume I was African and just think I was like, just a young urban kid. And they start speaking to me in rapid fire Swahili, and they're like, kaka, dada, no.
Okay.
Like I don't speak that well. As soon as I start talking,
they
like their eye, the glow in their eye, they like changes, and they're like, oh, mzungu, and mzungu is the word for like tourist.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that had to be amazing.
Yeah,
Okay, so how was the shopping there? Like groceries and all that. Was it more?
It's market
like,
style. It's
you
market
that
style.
question.
There's stalls. Everybody's got their at least. Yeah. I mean, there's stores and stuff too, but like it's it's market style. So one of the training exercises they had us do, like to learn the language, was they gave us money and they took us to the market and they were like, go barter with people.
Oh.
Go barter with people, and that's what it is. They'll have their stuff out and they'll give you a price and you're like, nah, I don't like that. Like I'd rather have moja, mbili, tatu, 1, 2, 3 of those for that price instead of you trying to so. It really forced you to like learn because you're about to have these conversations with these people, so you can't like. And you got money in it, like there's physically, like there's like it's tangible because you're literally bartering and giving people money. So it was a good experience.
Awesome.
One of my instructors said that I probably ended up the stalls ended up probably taking a loss for me because I ended up getting so much stuff because I was like bartering so hard with people.
Okay.
So I was like, ooh yeah, it don't matter where I am, I can barter and haggle with them all.
Yes, and that's something that we Americans don't know how to do, because you don't have to go to the store and pay for that price that they have.
No, you can be like, look here, homie.
Right.
Look here,
I
this
got
how
cash.
it's going. Yeah.
I got cash, and if you want my cash, you can bring that down just a little bit. Right.
Or you can be like, I got American dollars, so
right.
that,
right.
and then you tantalize them with that. So it's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Have you ever been out of the country? What's your out of country? Have you been to the motherland?
No, I have not.
Okay.
But that is I'm putting that out in the universe as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's one of my goals.
Okay.
The only place I've been is to Canada.
Canada's a good time though.
It is, because when I went, I was at a church and I took them to the Underground Railroad that went through Canada. So we had that experience. So that was awesome. And then we went to the Uncle Tom's cabin.
Okay.
And they found out that Uncle Tom wasn't the one that was doing the he wasn't the brown noser like people tend to think. Oh, you're just being an Uncle Tom. That is actually a compliment if you knew the true story. So I always tell people, before you start using things, know the whole story before you start to say someone is an Uncle Tom, because you're actually giving them a compliment. Quiet as it's kept, even though you mean it in a different way.
In a different way.
Right.
So is it one of those things where it turned, like they tried to devalue like the man, so they turned
no,
into
they
like
didn't.
a negative
People
thing?
don't. People don't understand what he did.
Okay.
They didn't understand that he was really standing up for people. And it was the other two, and I can't remember their names, that were actually the ones that were brown nose. Yeah.
Being crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Woo-wee.
So what do you plan to do for the summer? You have any plans for the summer?
I'm done in May. Walking, getting out
Oh,
of.
actually walking.
Actually walking.
With
I
what? What are you getting?
Degree, Bachelor's of Science in Media Information with a specialization in interactive media and design. So after I'm done, and Marcus graduates with me at the same. Well, me and Marcus are graduating at the same time, which is funny. It's whatever. I take my time. I don't care.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, and anybody, do not feel like you need to rush. Take your time.
Yes.
It's all about you. You know the pace you can go at, and don't let anybody else try to dictate
and
your
the
pace.
other thing is, if you don't like what you're doing, change it.
You can.
Find what titillates your soul, and don't try to do what pleases your parents, because you're never going to be happy.
Some people are in hard situations where, their parents are paying for their education, so their parents feel that they have a say, which I can't knock, but that's a tough position. I talk to like kids at college all the time, where they feel like their parents are paying for their school, so their parents have input in it, so they have to follow it if they want.
But see, this is the thing that I noticed by parents. If parents didn't spend a lot of time with their children. Mm-hmm. And you can't spend a lot of time with your children when they're at school 8 hours and you're at work 8 hours. Mm-hmm. The teacher knows more about your child usually than the parent does. Mm-hmm. Unless you are taking an invested interest in them, or you're paying attention. Mm-hmm. You have to pay close attention to what your child's likes and dislikes are, to know, to be able to dictate what's going to be best for them.
Mm-hmm. That's called a cultivated child rearing. Cultivated child rearing. Yeah. I'm learning about it in my sociology class. So it's like I'm trying to tie the concept together.
Yes. So, and that's kind of the reason why I chose to do some homeschooling with Whitney, because I know that with her gift, her talkative manner, she's outspoken, that most of her teachers did not relate to her. Mm-hmm. Because she had a more of I don't know how to open development. She was able to do a lot of things that most people put their finger on and say no. Mm-hmm. And I was more like, do you?
It should be tailored specifically for them. You know what I'm saying, and not conform. Oh, you're not like the rest of these 28 kids, so you're the problem. You're talking too much. No, that's just how they express themselves.
Right, that's right. And then I chose homeschooling because when I went into the buildings of some of the schools, the first thing in the morning, they were being yelled at and scolded. It wasn't any love there. It was not even, it was just, the whole atmosphere was toxic to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can't put her into that situation and be comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's how we got where we were.
I definitely want to do, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not ready for kids at this stage of my life, but I constantly think about how I'm gonna do what I will do with my kids. And so I always think about I am gonna homeschool them, but I do want them to go to some form of public school, some kind of school system in general, because you got to learn how to interact with people.
No, that's not necessarily.
I don't think it has to necessarily be through the school system.
Even though she went to a private school and then she went to charter school, so she was.
Yeah, and exactly. I was in a charter school, so some kind, because you gotta.
But it's not necessary, because if you got cousins and family, But
throwing a kid in a setting that they're not familiar with and having them adjust and get used to.
But see that's
I see the value in that.
A lot of parents don't homeschooling parents don't see it that way, because they feel that they're protecting their children, but.
Because they had a negative experience from being in those public school settings, and they'd rather their child or children not be prescribed to the same thing, and I can understand that. Or they have a problem with education.
If they don't put them in a necessarily public school setting, at least get them involved in community.
Mm-hmm. That is in a choir, and a boys and girls club, and freedom school.
Right, exactly. And Whitney did all of those. Every last one of them. So yes. So
Boy Scouts, I'm gonna advocate Girl Scouts.
Right, all of that, yes. So, but then they have the homeschool version. Yeah. So, I feel that you should interact with everybody.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just things I think about, randomly in the back of my head. Like, would I do it that way? Maybe. Or I'll shelf it, but like, I'll ponder that later. When it happens. But, hey, everyone. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. I just want to remind everybody that we're still here on WFOV 92.1 LPFM Flint, subsidy of Flint Odyssey. I'm here with Miss Donna, and we're getting to the end of the show. But I've been enjoying myself, and I thank you for letting me being here with you.
It was amazing. I enjoyed you as well. And goodbye.
Not done. Well, we're not done yet. We're done yet. We got a couple minutes.
Well, I just want to say, I just want people to stay positive. There are two people that lives inside of you, a positive and a negative one. Whoever you feed is the one who's going to take over. So I encourage you to always look at the positive side of life.
Good words to listen to. And I definitely need that for the week, you know what I'm saying? Because you got... In Michigan, especially in winter, when the snow is down, you feel like kind of trapped inside. Sometimes you just like, man, I'm stuck here. I don't want to do nothing. It's hard to be a little positive. So
yeah, it's and the wintertime is a great time to get your mind right, refocus. I always say I'm like a bear. I hibernate. So get your rest in, get prepared to get out and spring forth as soon as spring comes in.
I talked about my podcast earlier. If anybody's interested in listening to us, like I said, we do comic books, anime, manga, movies, TV shows, anything nerd culture related, we do. We're called the Just Spitballin'. It's called the Just Spitballin' Podcast, but on Facebook we're Just Spitballin' Entertainment. So look us up. Join the community. We're all about interacting with people, finding out what you guys like, and doing community forums so we can all talk and have a good time reading and watching the things we love.
Yay! Sounds good to me.
Ooh. All right, so have a great night, guys. I had a great time being on the show. Hopefully I'm back, but usually I'm in the background taking care of all the camera work.
And I appreciate you standing in your father's stead. You were amazing. Yay!
All right, guys, have a great night and enjoy yourselves. Please, please, please. And love each other, love each other, love each other.
Yes, ditto.
Well, we're just going to talk about it here in a few minutes. We'll see where it goes. Yeah, so there we go. And I think we got something coming up here, though, before we do that. Right? Don't we? Oh, yeah. What time is it?